Hello, welcome to the channel. My name's Pete, and on this episode I'm going to be fitting one of these things, a new Oxford Junction box, whether it's any good or not. Hopefully it should be. It's only 25 quid, but what this allows me to do, terminals, and that needs attaching to an ignition live wire, an ignition switch wire, which I've already found because I fitted my Aoocci C9 dash cam, which I've got on the bike still here, up there. I'm using Google Maps. It's absolutely brilliant. If you want to get one of these, I think they're 130 quid. You can't go wrong, honestly. It's fantastic. It's been on the bike about a month now, and I use it every day for the dash cams. It also acts like a rear view mirror as well. But I'm also using it for Google Maps should I need to go anywhere that I'm not familiar with. But that directly goes into the battery and onto a switch live wire. So I've got to add that to it, and then this goes onto the battery. Now what I can do is, when I get anything else to add onto the bike, it's got another 4 slots in there. If I want heated grips, which I'm not going to bother with because they're crap. If you're thinking about buying them, don't bother buying them, they're crap. They might keep your palms of your hand warm, but your fingertips are always freezing. I know somebody who's got a Yamaha who's got the big muffs that go on here, and he reckons they're brilliant. So you're probably better off buying those, or heated gloves, but they're too expensive. So I'm hoping to get this wired on today. Controversial move coming up. I'm going to put some LED lights on the bike. I love lights. I do a lot of commuting every day, and it's dark now. So if I can do anything to be seen and stand out on the bike, I will do that. I've got these little strip LED lights. They're all green, the ones I've got. I would have liked to have got blue, but you can't have blue on your bike, can you? Because it's the police. I do need to extend these wires because they're not going to be long enough for a couple of the places. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at putting them on underneath there, so they're lighting up down here, and then quite possibly, I'm not sure on this one, under there, which will go that way, and that'll give me a little of a green glow around the bike. That's what I'm thinking anyway. I mean, I might even put it round here somewhere, because if they work well and look great, I might get another set of red ones to put under there for the back of the bike. So let's get going. This is the Oxford thing. It's fused. That does come off. I've had a look in it. It's because it's bloody cold out here today. Push that in, and then top does come away, and you can see inside you've got 4 fuses and your 4 connectors. They're screws. Undo, wires in, job's a good one. I'll put that back together in a minute off camera, because otherwise I'll be fiddling about forever and boring you. That's what I need to connect to the battery terminals, positive, negative, and a live ignition wire, which I've already found. Then these LEDs, these are quite short. They might be short, they might be long enough for one of them, but I will need to extend those a little bit. So I either need to dig out some wire from somewhere, or possibly even go buy a little bit. They go in there, and they should be permanently off until I switch the ignition on, in which case it will get activated through there. Bob's your uncle, lights are on. Let's see if I can do it. So this time I'm going to swap one of these out for one of these, so that if I need to, I can get it a lot easier, a lot tidier, a lot more secure, and I can add to it should I need to. But I don't want to be drawing too much off this battery. I do want to get an alarm for this bike as well, so I'll swap those out. So at this point I've just wired in the fuse box sorry, the junction box to my live switch with one of those junctions, wired up to the battery. I just want to turn the engine over, well, not engine over, sorry. I just want to put the ignition on before I finish anything up and tape anything up, just to make sure that I ain't knackered this. That's fine. As we can see, it is lighted, so it indicates that it's on. Now I'll just find a location for my lights. Now I've got an idea what I want to do with them. I'd like to fasten them underneath here, under there, so that they're lighting down onto the engine at this side. And I've had a look at the back, and what I think I'm going to do is clean this up here, in there, and put those ones there, the green ones at the back. I might change them for red light. That's where I'm thinking of going, because I can feed through here to get underneath on both sides. There's little drainage holes there, so I can feed through there. And then the tank ones, I can obviously just undo tank and feed underneath the tank, and that's done. I just need to extend them a little bit. So to extend them, I've got these cable connectors. They're the right voltage and ampage, and I've had to buy a cable reel as well, so that I can extend them long enough without being crazy long, so that I can attach them to the bike and wiring them into this junction box. So the front ones are going to be a bit longer, but the back ones may actually reach. I'll see how it goes. At the moment, things aren't looking too bad. I've just got this one wired in now to see if I can get it to fit underneath. They are a bit fiddly, these little wires, and I think these are designed for more robust wires than that. I've got one here, look, an LED light. Now I'm just having to trim them off a little bit so I can get them in. So we know from our little test, this works, which you need to get, link in the description. Ignition, we already learned that this is my ignition wire, because I've tracked it down on a previous video when I was fitting that. Go back and watch it. So I've not fastened it in place. I've got it dangling down there. You probably there. You might not be able to see it too easy. So we'll put the ignition on again, which is grand. Got boot up on that. Not too bothered about that. We're still functioning down there. I've not fastened anything up here as yet. I want to get everything done and then make sure I've got enough wire and then sort of fasten it all up as I'm going along. But check this out. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea. But you know what? If it helps me get seen at night during on these city streets, I'm all for it. I'm going to glue it underneath there. I've cleaned it, degreased it. I'm going to get that on this side, and I'm going to do one at the other side. Then hopefully I'm going to be able to fix some underneath there as well, so it's shining down over the engine. I think that'll be the next time you see it, when I switch lights off and then put ignition on. Something like a Star Trek for you. Alright, wish me luck. With another few minutes of fiddling about, I've done this one a different way. It's still going through the drainage plug there and there. But what I've done, rather than just wiring it straight into there with real little fiddly wires, the extension that I've got, I put that in because they're quite robust wires then. And then I put connectors on, which are going to connect there and there. Now my electrician mate will be looking at that thinking, what the bloody hell are you doing? Well, you're quite welcome to come and have a look. But you don't need to bring electrician's tape, because I bought some. I bought all these different ones because I don't just want to wrap them up. I want to wrap them up in live and neutrals. That's why I've got the red and the blacks. I only had the black before. So once I'm done, I'll wrap it up. I don't know what white's actually for, as in, unless it's just showing external wire like an extension lead. What's that for, Percy, or any electricians out there? Why is there a white tip? I think that's an earth, isn't it? And I think that's an earth as well. But I don't need those. And I'll use the white one for this bit here. And I'll tape those two together. And then I'll see if that one works. Okay, so I'm doing all right. That works a treat. Now, I've lifted the tank off and getting a dab hand at that. I don't even think twice about it anymore. I was just terrified the first time. I'm going to have a go at just sort of lining. Don't get me wrong, I'm not sitting it where you're watching. But I would like it there somewhere, facing down. Now, I've got a wiring loom there. And these cables that are running through. So what I think I might do is cable tie it to them. Got loads of cable ties. So I think that'll be fairly easy. He says, famous last words. Probably under there a bit as well. And then along these cable ties. I think I might stick it, mind you, as engine heat will cause the glue to melt. So I cable tie that under there, and I can actually do the same at the other side as well. I think. Yeah, I've got a few wires under there that I can cable tie it to. It doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be good enough for me. A lot of people put them under here. Down there. I suppose I could do that as well. There is a bit of heat from the engine and exhaust, but with it being at the front, would they be cool enough? I don't know the answer to that question, so I'm going to put them under there for now and see how it looks. Now, I know it's not everybody's cup of tea to do this sort of thing to your bike. And you see a lot of Americans doing it and you think, bah, you're a knobhead. But do you know what? I fancied having a go. I wanted to do something. I'm not in a position yet to get my dog bones in. I need a scissor jack to try and help me do that. I can get the exhaust done, but I want to do all that in one go. I want to do the exhaust and the dog bones together. I also need a scissor jack to take out the back wheel. So I'm kind of a bit of a loose end with all that at the minute until I can afford to buy that scissor jack. So please subscribe to the channel. That is the number one thing that you can do to help me. I'm not quite there yet, but I'll show you where I'm at. Now I have it all to tidy up still, and I know that looks like a wiring electrician's nightmare, but I know what's what. I'll tidy all that up when I finally get this fixed in position, and then I can run the wires where I need to. So you can kind of see this red one here running under the tank down into there, and it's here. That'll be fastened underneath there, underneath this bar here, and then my back ones, they're still hanging down, one at that side, the other one's at that side, so I don't get muddled up. I have checked, once they're in position, I pulled the cord through, even if they fall down, they're not going to get caught in that back wheel. I've got some super glue, so I'm just going to dab 3 spots of super glue on the end, middle and other end, on either one as well, just to make sure they do hold in place. The surface I've degreased and cleaned. I have degreased and cleaned all underneath there, and I'm going to cable tie this one as well. Which is what I've done with this one here. cable ties there and down here and up there, and that shines down on the engine. I've got to say it looks pretty good. So the next time you're going to see this is I'm going to put it all back together, tidy everything up, and then switch all the lights off and then put my power on and see how it looks. Hopefully it'll look all right. I'm done. It took me a good few hours, but it's easy to do. The junction box from Oxford works great. I realise I'm going to be drawing more power from the battery when the bike's running. Hopefully that's not going to be a problem with running the battery flat. It is a brand new battery, but I also trickle charge it every now and again, a couple of times a week. I would have said once a week. All right, twice a month I'll trickle charge it, but it'll be on all weekend when I'm elsewhere. So I've tested over and over again. Everything works. Bike starts. We're not going to start the bike up, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what it looks like. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea. I don't really care, to be quite honest with you. I like it. I've had fun doing it, which is the main thing, and I've had the confidence to do it. I wouldn't have done that with my old bike. I wouldn't have had a clue what I'm doing, but this bike's making me learn things. If you're ever in any doubt of what motorcycle to get something like this. You know, yeah, it's old and a bit worn, runs brilliantly once I've done them carbs. Like, starts every time, almost. I have to put a choke on, and sometimes I forget about choke. But once choke's on, I have to be careful not to flood it. Is that a warning sign for anything, or is that just me being overzealous with choke? But it runs brilliantly, and I've been up and down motorway on it a couple of times now, and it's wick, I can tell you. Crikey, it scares the life out of me how fast this thing can go. 70 miles an hour on a motorway, of course. In the meantime, let's have a look. If you have enjoyed this, please subscribe to the channel. I will see you in the next one, and I'm kind of hoping you're going to like the green lights on this bike. Take care.